it's important for us to get a rating from you going, sir. Mr. Puri, good afternoon. Is my voice reaching you?
No, Nikunj, yes, it's
well,
loud and clear.
So if you have to rate the budget on a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate the budget? How would you rate the budget?
Well, I don't have a framework for that kind of rating, but I would say the budget is commendable, because not only has it addressed this investments required for inclusive growth, it has also got a holistic approach to the climate change, issues of energy transition, issues of certain natural resources like water, etc. are being addressed, and it is ahead as far as the guidance on fiscal consolidation glide path was concerned. So a lot of positives there, and in addition, what was very good to see was really the steps being clearly articulated for the next journey of economic transformation. Where a lot of focus on ease of doing business, a lot of focus on reforms which lie at the states, better collaboration and incentives for that, and also a very clear statement on the next generation reforms, that influence the factor cost, land, labor, very important statement around GST to make it more inclusive. So I think all in all, many positives in this budget, and over a period of time, certainly I think it will provide, as these schemes get implemented, is going to provide further impetus to the economy.
One big change which has come this time is on capital gains, short term, long term, and also duration and STT. Now, capital markets have been a source of capital for corporates also, for promoters also when they are raising some capital, and for companies when they are raising growth capital. Do you think any change in taxation right now could have an impact on QIPs, IPOs, and also availability of cash for promoters?
I'm not a capital market expert, but from a business perspective, we always believe that investment and infusion of capital should be on fundamentals. I don't think these really change the fundamentals. So capital will go to places where it can thrive and multiply. So where business models are strong, where the enterprises are competitive, where value is getting created, I think capital will certainly flow there. So I don't really think it's much of an issue.
Mr. Puri, what do you make of government's push towards schemes like urban housing, a big allocation which is getting committed there, 1 lakh crore? Do you think that in a sense is the real focus area of the government, that you want to increase rural consumption, you want to increase the bottom of the pyramid consumption, but you want to do it effectively by creating long-term, by generation of long-term cycles like real estate?
Absolutely. That's the reason I said the budget is extremely commendable, because the focus has remained on the path of investment-led growth, on the path of improving the productive capacity of the nation, so that investments happen, jobs get created, and that in turn spurs consumption, so kind of a virtuous cycle. I think that focus has continued, and the investments in these resources always have a multiplier impact. And this is indeed a requirement in urban areas, the housing for the poor, and it's a very, very powerful step forward. We're also happy to see the focus on rural, not only on agriculture, but also on agriculture infrastructure development, which is sitting at about 2.7 lakh crores or so, some figure like that, which is, I think, substantially more than what was there in the past. So all these are going to improve the productive capacity of both the rural economy and also the urban economy. So very positive steps.
To draw your attention, Mr. Puri, to the fact that the total expenditure as percentage of GDP It's an impressive number, but there is no increase in that number. Do you think that number could have been elevated? Because I distinctly remember when we were having a conversation with CI and you were part of that forum before election, this was in a sense a topic which CI felt that the commitment towards capital expenditure needs to be pushed higher rather than keeping it constant.
So I don't see, first of all, compared to the estimates of last year, I think it's a 15-16% increase. So there is an increase. CI was recommending a little more, but I think the 15-16% increase is also a fair increase, and it also indicates that the path towards investments in infrastructure, the policy is continuing. So that's clearly a positive. You see, infrastructure is one part of it, but the other areas that we in CII had spoken about, and I thought let me talk about it because we find a lot of it comprehensively addressed in this in this budget. We had spoken about skilling and employment-linked schemes, so we see a lot of mention of that, a lot of powerful ideas there. We spoke about making the educated youth industry ready. So very powerful ideas of internship with the top 500 corporates. So a lot of good initiatives there for skilling and employment. And we had also spoken about the employee linked scheme. If you look at the focus on manufacturing and services, now that also touches very important areas, particularly of MSME. MSME has also been covered under the energy transition. So a lot of areas which will enable livelihood creation and make the youth industry ready. A lot of powerful initiatives there, and I think this certainly over time is going to strengthen the productive capacity.
I appreciate your time. So glad you could join us, and such a pleasure as always.
Thank you, Nikunj.